What's up, guys? So I know I usually don't like move specific guides for this channel, but I feel like this move is just unique enough and important enough to warrant its own separate character, its own breakdown. I haven't really done an move breakdown since instant transition breakdown, so I'm gonna be pretty uh, invested in this one. All right, so first of all, what are we looking at? We're looking at Goku Early in Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3, and usually he's not really that good of a character. Well, I mean, he's about as good as like base characters come in this game or just series period. He's got basic melee attacks. He's got basic blast 2s, one interesting blast 1, or at least halfway decent. And he's got an ultimate. This no rolling hammer. He's got double stack heavy finish, flying kicks, key blast cannon. So there's nothing really too outlandish about Goku Early right off the bat. However, we're going to his skill list, we find this move called Kaioken. Yes, I know technically it's pronounced Kaioken, but when I was growing up in the Ocean dub and for a good chunk of the Funimation dubs, it was pronounced Kaioken. Frequently spelled without the I, so that's just why I know the correct pronunciation, but I just say this because I'm more comfortable with it. So, Kaioken, quite a bit different than it's ever been in any series ever, because in the original Budokais 1 through 3 and Infinite World, if you count that, I don't think it was present. I don't know if it was in Shin Budokai. No, it wasn't Shin Budokai 2. Might have been in 1 also. I'm not sure, honestly. But this is a vast difference from what Kaioken has been in a previous series thus far. Usually, it's just been its own separate transformation. But in this game, it actually serves as a power-up. So you might be thinking, well, why is it? If it's just a power-up, why doesn't it warrant its own guide? It does so because it actually takes Goku and turns him basically into a completely different character when you use him right. Also, I learned earlier that apparently Goku does in fact have a destructo disc. I think this is literally the only Dragon Ball Z game I've ever seen that Goku actually has access to destructo disc. Just feel like throwing it out there. Anyway, so Kaioken. It is a 3 Blastock power up that will technically power up all your moves. It raises your attack, your defense, your super attacks. I think it does something else. Let me check that. Oh yeah, it raises your key charge speed, but that's really irrelevant, so don't worry about that at all. But here's where it really comes into its own fruition. Because of the fact that it does... This is the only... Well, I think this is the case. It's the only Blast 1 in the game that's a power-up that boosts all your stats without putting you into max power, which is heavily unique, because that means it's nothing like power to very limit or full power. I think full power just gives like a super attack buff, but it's not really interesting. And the coolest part about Kaioken is that it's stackable. This is also unique to the Tenkaichi series. This is the only series where the Kaioken is technically infinitely stackable, but it's not nearly as broken as you think it is. So anyway, let's just break this down. So for every time you press Kaioken, it costs 3 blast stocks, just so you know. It's pretty pricey, but we'll get into that later. It technically gives you a +1 stat for every one of your stats. Your 4 core stats, your key charge, super attack, defense. Pretty generic stuff. If you know, I think each +1, just like item boosting, you know that items in this game, like if you put like a +1 into a stat, it raises it by like 12.5%, or at least that's roughly what I've calculated. It's either 10%, somewhere between 10% and 12.5. It's some rough sketch around that area. I'm not too sure which one it is. But this is interesting because Kaioken is stackable, and it stacks with items you can equip. On top of the fact that doing so just constantly raises your stats too. So let's visually illustrate this, because this is actually really interesting. I'm gonna attack him, so you have a visual representation of what it actually looks like. So everyone's dead. Taunts. Okay. Let's see what his base damage is. I'm going to use the first attack first to get it quickly going. Alright, this is what his base chain looks like. 1890. Now keep that number in mind. Now let's use Kaioken once. So Kaioken times 1. 2150. Alright, that's like, that is somewhere around like the 10% ballpark, 12.5 when I looked at it earlier. Now if you do it again, oh, suddenly it's at 2390. What happens if I do it a 4th time? Well, look at here. We got 2630. Do it a 5th time. 4th time, 5th time. I forgot. 2840. Oh, wait. Let's see what happens when we do it one more time. 2840. So there is a limit to how many times it can actually stack your stats. It can always go up to +4 in every one of your stats, meaning only up to Kaioken times 4 does it actually give you buffs every time you activate it. From there on out, you're basically just using Kaioken or activating the move so that way you have access to doing it consecutive times or to recharge your stats. Now here's the really interesting part about this move actually. When you use Kaioken, I'm just going to show you right now, it actually takes your energy gauge and turns it into a timer. Like you see now, when I have it activated, it's constantly lowering my energy gauge. And here's what happens when I try to charge. You can't charge. You actually cannot charge your key, probably for better because otherwise it would just make it completely broken. So in essence, what this does is it gives you stats all across the board. It's plus 3 blast gauges to activate, and you have a limit on how long this activates, and your energy gauge is your timer. Unfortunately, I don't think investing in key points results in longer longevity. I'll probably have to look into that sometime. I'm not too certain of it though. But moving on. So once it runs dry, you're back to base and you're left with 0 key. It kind of sucks. However, there are some ways to circumvent this. So let's also doing such stuff as like key blast 2s, it will just severely hamper it. So for that reason, I don't recommend using Kaioken for blast 2s or any sort of energy thing. If you're doing this, I recommend going strictly physical attacks with Goku because it'll get your longest longevity out of it, and you're not just blowing blast stocks for the fuck of it. So this is really a really cool metagame comes into play because for every time, it's like a how long can you keep Kaioken going? So basically, for 3 blast gauges, which is not quick to recover, just so you know, it takes a good while. So you're getting closer. You're like, oh shit, I'm almost out. All of a sudden, you get 3 blast gauges. Boom, pop it again. Then you got another 12.1% boost to all your stats, and you got another charge and ready to go. But now you have to wait for another blast, the next 3 to actually charge up, which will usually be about like 2 or 1 energy gauges left. It's pretty dicey. Pop it again, and from here on out, you're literally just popping it to keep your energy gauge going. So basically, as long as you're in Kaioken and you don't lose your charge, you will keep all your stat buffs at +4s to every single one of your stats. What this results in is easily one of the beefiest melee attackers in the game, if not like period. This actually turns Goku into a very fearsome fighter. This is why I said that Kaioken alone separates Goku to his own character basically, because it adds so much depth to the character. Like, you have this one move. I mean, sure, you do have a solar flare, but who gives a shit about solar flare when you have this? And yeah, so if the longer you're able to keep going, the more stats you'll be able to have. Although I guess a cool trick you could do is, while you have Kaioken active, if you have the 3 blast gauges, you can use a blast 2 move. And then as soon as it's over, you can charge up again. And that's 15,240 points of damage. 15.2k for base Goku with no stat investment from a vanilla Kamehameha wave. That's pretty fucking good, if I don't say so myself. Crap, I just realized I was going to open this up with history as to what the Kaioken actually is. But, no big deal. So, with this, you'd be like, oh, so how do you take advantage of this? Because frankly, it's going to be very difficult to actually amass the key gauges on a regular, or blast gauges on a regular basis in order to keep this power up going. So what I recommend doing is if you're able to select custom steps, absolutely do it. So I'll just quickly show you my preferred step for when dealing with this. It's actually going to be pretty cool. One sec as I swing over to character guides. By the way, or character guides. No, my character setup. Also, you have to forgive me if there's a giant whirring noise in the background. It's my fan. The Arizona heat, though. Anyway. So, Goku Early. This is my preferred setup with him. Lover of Justice. Their key power does go down by 1, but when you're using Kaioken, who really gives a shit? Yeah, lowers blast concussion by 1. And randomly lowers damage from Devil Might Beam. That's cool. Although with Goku, you're not taking any damage anyway, so who fucking cares? Dragon Spirit. Dragon Blade. Gauge recovers more quickly. It's definitely in handy, especially if you're able to deflect key blasts to make it raise higher. It's really good. Attack up 3, super down 1. I'll explain that in a sec. And latent energy, defense rises as your health decreases. Basically, just keep you alive longer to get like that comeback you're looking for. This really was just like 1 point. You could just do whatever you want with it, and I just opted for that. So, where does this go? Okay, so I explained before that with Kaioken, you're really just you shouldn't use your super attacks, but you have the option to anyway because you will still have a +3 in your super attacks, which means you'll have like a 30% boost by default. It's fucking fantastic. Outside of that, Dragon Spirit, definitely for getting your blast gauges back faster. This lowers the cost of it, period. And this just turns Goku into an absolute fucking physical monster. It's ridiculous. Because remember, if you have attack power +3 and you have 4 Kaiokens, it technically stacks. So that means technically you're running around with the Goku with a +7 attack stat. Even though with the lower super, who gives a shit when you can get +3 on it if you're playing your cards right. So without all that being said, in theory you could keep it going indefinitely, as long as you're playing, or if playing like survival or something like that. I did not want to select that. You'll have to forgive me for a sec. Alright, going back. Alright, so let's pop back into training mode, and I'm going to quickly show you the crazy bullshit you can do with this little setup I have going for Goku. It's going to be really cool. Training mode. Yep. Do I have any other steps? No, I don't think so. I can't imagine myself using any others anyway. Pop in there again. Alright, so let's see what kind of shit we can do. So, first of all, I gotta get rid of the first attack. There we go. I don't really know if it does anything anyway, so... Okay, so this is Goku with +3, no Kaioken activated. 2630. Quite a huge bump from the 1890 we were getting before. So let's go for Kaioken times 4. 3. I also think this is theoretically the highest stats you can get in the game. I think. 3570. That's pretty fucking good. Okay, take it higher. Oh, it'd be nice, but sadly no. But this is still pretty fucking ridiculous because now you only have to worry about getting to 2 gauges, or yeah, 2 blast stocks, and you'll be getting there a hell of a lot faster. And every time you do it, recharges Kaioken. So at that point, you're basically set to go. So what kind of crazy bullshit can you do with this kind of stuff? So quickly refresh. Let me just show you some like bread and butter stuff you can do with Goku in this form. I'm doing it at an incredibly awkward angle, but I think it's alright. Going for this. It's gonna do a little less juice than I like, but whatever. Here's a cool thing you can do. Charge it again. It's usually more doable, but I was at a bad angle. Anyway, let me just try another combo just to see. I'll give you enough time to do a sweep. Oops. Probably shouldn't have popped that actually. Hang on a sec. 1, 2, 3. Go for flying kicks. Sweep. Lift strike. Throw him away. And I don't have enough to do a command wave. Fuck. But you saw from there. That's 30. Almost 30 hits. 14,000 points of damage right there. That's might seem like not that much compared to like Super Saiyan 3 characters or just Super Saiyan characters in general. But holy fuck, for a base form character from the Saiyan saga, that's almost unthinkable. That's ridiculously good. Like, let's just see what other kind of stuff we can do with this form. This might be coming a little close. And as soon as you end the combo, just immediately pop Kaioken again. And just Dragon Dash in for anything else you want to do. So, with this, you're going to be rocking some very high stats for Goku. For just doing this consecutively. So, you can definitely see why I wanted to make this its own standalone guide. Because this, frankly, this form of Goku is easily like, I wouldn't say the best Goku I've seen in base form period, but it's definitely one of the chunkier ones. Actually, I'd say the best form of Goku base form would probably be Raging Blast 2, all things considered. But Raging Blast 2 and Raging Blast 1 for that matter, Kaioken's got so heavily gimped, it's not nearly as versatile as it is in this game. There's over here, we stack it. no way to restack it. But yeah, hopefully this gives you like some idea of what Kaioken's able to do. This takes Goku from being a relatively low tier, nothing too interesting going on for him character, to being probably one of the deadliest or being pretty mid-high tier, I would say. Top 40 in the game easily. He's easily competing. He's easily out-damaging a lot of Super Saiyan characters in general, such as Super Saiyan Vegeta, both Super Saiyan Vegetas, first and second form Cell. I would argue even Super Boos, actually. This form of Goku, if you invest your stats right, you can achieve some really nasty shit. So let's take up a little bit higher and see what kind of damage we can really do with no interruptions. $17.50. That's, or 17.5k. That's not too bad considering you barely blew any meter for that whatsoever. And at that time you're doing a combo. Odds are very good. You're gonna get close to having enough to pop it again. And of course, the best part about this is you're not just raising your physical attacks, but you're also raising your defense. So on the off chance you get countered in reverse, you're going to be taking extremely low damage with Kaioken activated, because you can have the +4 defense. And remember, that item I actually put on him, that the lower his health goes, the more defense he gets for every bar lost. So, you know, with that coupled with this, but if you reach 1 bar of health by some chance, you're going to have +6 defense. That is way higher defense than you could possibly achieve normally. So, yeah, hopefully with this, you guys probably have a cool idea of how to use this form of Goku. A good chunk of this should apply to BT2. I don't know how Kaioken operates whatsoever in Ultimate Guide G. I apologize. None of this applies whatsoever to Budokais. I apologize. And Raging Blast, it's just not useful in the slightest. So, yep, hope with that you guys finding some cool stuff to do this, and have a good day. Peace.